Okay, it's the end of the WWE year. Yes, they've already got stuff filmed for next week, and I'm not anticipating things to go really crazy on the 31st and the 1st. So we'll try to go through this in a relatively quick fashion. We'll start off first with NXT. Now, the nice thing about NXT is they actually did a really good job introducing a brand new title, the North American title. So with that, of course, he was defended in that amazing ladder match, which they crowned their first champion, Adam Cole, baby. And you know what? He did a great job defending that title. He's just the right amount of slimy, charismatic heel, but he's really good in the ring and fantastic on the mic. Had a very good series of matches, and he lost to Ricochet, which then lets having amazing matches where it was Ricochet and Pete Dunne, or it was Ricochet and Adam Cole. Ricochet, Adam Cole, and Pete Dunne. It was great, and his amazing match he had recently with Tyler Breeze. So Ricochet, of course, was still your champion, but the nice thing was that belt showed up, was brought in a fantastic way in New Orleans, and good, very good. Tag belts. Their tag division has pretty much been undisputed era. They lost the belts for a short time to Mustache Mountain in a fantastic match in the UK. Of course, got the belts back right away. Had a great feud with the Brit Am Brawlers. Really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with, they got Heavy Machinery next week. And when the Warriors come back from injuries. You know, the nice thing is now they're at full strength again. So having Roderick Strong turn on Pete Dunne to become both the NXT champions and Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Invitational winner was pretty good. Then of course he got to take over Bobby Fish. So it's Fish and O'Reilly, but I'm like, oh, we only see Kyle O'Reilly a lot, who's great. Oh, the way he moves coming down to the ring, fantastic. When he takes his title off to play it as he's coming down, oh. He has just, the nice thing about Undisputed has this perfect factor of, we're cool, but we also feel just kind of sleazy enough to be really good heels. But they're incredible in their individual components, and they work fantastic as a group. If they stay in NXT for all of 2019, I hope they all get belts. And I think that once the main roster clears up a little bit, these guys could show up on an absolute tear. They need to come in and have like a Shield style push, where them dang numbers just take over so many matches. Women's belt. Well, we have Ember Moon, who won it in a Fatal 4-Way last year. Then it was Ember Moon, lost to Shayna Baszler. Okay, not bad. Baszler's very good at her job. Baszler's come a tremendous way from the first Mae Young Classic to where she is today. Tremendous amount of growth there. She lost to Kairi Sane for a little bit, which is a great back and forth story. I loved that, how they actually worked in previous tournaments and other matches to work you through the whole, no, rubber match. Of course, the other two horsewomen got involved. Put the belt back onto Shayna, making Shayna the only two-time NXT Women's Champion. You know what? That division has gone through a lot. It was gutted pretty effectively recently, so it's been a lot of rebuilding up. But you know what? It's done a really good job with what they've got. It also helps with the Mae Young Class. They actually get to bring in a lot more talent. And the fact that they can bring in people for just short stints allows them to bring more international talent. Plus, with the NXT UK, they have different people they can bring in from almost all over the world for a couple tapings here and there for short stints, just to get them through to either have people get healthy again or they can keep on going. And the main belt. Ciampa has now held the title, at the time of this video, for longer than Nakamura, longer than Samoa Joe, longer than Kevin Owens, longer than Sami Zayn, longer than Darcy Almas, longer than Aleister Black. He's quickly running up the ranks of becoming one of the longest reigning champions for NXT. He's got about another 150 days before he passes, Finn Balor. That belt, ooh. Did some good work there with that. Having the belt on Almas, the feud that Almas had with Gargano, Gargano's he's not gonna do it. Having Gargano effectively lose his job and then come back to beat Ciampa, to get his job back, and then have Aleister Black becoming champion. Having Aleister Black losing the title to Ciampa because of Gargano's interference. Gargano being revealed as the person who attacked Aleister Black. The amazing series of matches that we've seen with Aleister Black and Gargano. Ciampa playing, if not one of the best meta heels, a fantastic regular heel. When he had no music, really solid. Now that he has music, amazing character. The way he holds the title, and I will say this, NXT does a beautiful job when it comes to making everyone feel different. Undisputed Era, when they're shooting their promos in the back, they have a stage setup that they use. When Velveteen Dream shows up, he changes the lights. It's a whole new experience. Tommaso Ciampa sets up a camera in a trailer, surrounded on all the surrounding sides, where you can look out the trailer so he knows someone's coming to get him. The way he clutches that tight like it's a golem holding the one ring. And now the dark DIY era, or whatever they're doing with that, beautiful. Beautiful. NXT UK is going to be really quick. They haven't put in the tag belts yet, but I like how every person who wasn't gunning for the main title found a partner and was like, they're doing tag belts? We can do this. We're going to make a team, we're going to go off the tag belts. Simple, basic, easy to run with. The women's division. Yeah, it was weird for the NXT UK title to come down to two Australian women, but Rhea Ripley is great at what she does. Really great at what she does. Solid power wrestler, great look to her. She's like a female Triple H. But wrestles a really high impactful style. Great things for her, she's still young. So she's definitely a true future in the women's wrestling scene, period. For the main title, it's been Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne's amazing. Period. That's it. It's the main belt. It's been Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne wrestles everybody and makes them look really good. Even some you're like, out the floor with this guy. Pete is overconfident, take a bad shot, and that's it. Flips the whole script on him, and then he fights him underneath, and then he wins. That's great. So I've seen wrestlers like heel. He's fantastic. As a face, he's also really good. So that's NXT right there. Great, phenomenal stuff you really should be watching. Now 205 Live, because I'm going through the full WWE multiverse. So we hit NXT, NXT UK, now 205 Live, which is now becoming amalgamated with the Smackdown universe. So here we go. We didn't have a champion for a while because something happened with somebody. So do a great tournament. The nice thing was it entirely rewrote the show, from being focused on he who shall remain nameless, to going back to what brought 205 Live to the dance, which was a really solid tournament. Coalescing with, of course, and being heart versus soul. Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander. Alexander getting the win. Good. They built up Alexander well. I still think he's great in the ring, but he's missing that spark. I think you see Mustafa Ali, he is the spark, and he's fantastic in the ring. His feud with Buddy Murphy turned head, period. So of course, Cedric Alexander was the one who primarily ran with the belt. Solid, great work. Loses it at Super Showdown to Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy put on a fantastic year. Really, really great matches. With him being effectively the biggest person in 205, he really has taken that Juggernaut gimmick and he's run with it. Putting on these beautiful matches. Him and Mustafa Ali, watch any of their matches on the network, especially their Falls Count Anywhere. Perfect. Perfect. And for Mustafa Ali, his feud with Hideo Itami was great too. Really good. I'm glad to see that he's on SmackDown. He really truly deserves, I've said this quite some time, Mustafa Ali he is a blank checkbook. The amount of money you can make off him is virtually limitless. Great babyface, fantastic promo. Watch the stuff that he did with him on like backlots. Great stuff. He is a true babyface. He sells perfect. To the point like you think he's severely injured in like half of the matches he's in. And he's got a great flashy style. And he can work those moves in without them feeling really rehearsed. Great, beautiful athlete. On to Raw. Okay, let's start the tag division. Oh, that poor tag division on Raw. We hit the bar. We were champs early on in the year, which they then lost the belts to Braun Strowman and a random kid. Yeah, that happened. The tag division was destroyed by Braun Strowman. Then the belts went on to the Deleter of Worlds. Oh, good. Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy. Let's run this to the moon. The B team. I get it. I get it. Slater and Rhino caught fire and they made them SmackDown champs, but the B team. Could have been the Revival. B team drops the belts to the newly christened Dolph Ziggler Drew McIntyre combination. Good. Either one of those guys should have been able to beat the B team. Period. Just saying. But going back a little bit, the Deleters of World versus B team, they had some good backstage segments, some good promos. But they ran them every single week, and it kind of diluted it pretty quickly. Just saying. So then, of course, which then led to a horrible time on Raw when every single men's title was involved in one feud. So I guess I gotta go build up the other belts. IC title. This was pretty much Rollins, then Ziggler, and then Rollins. I've checked it. I don't think anyone else. That's all I really recall is that those guys were the ones who really went back and forth with that. Women's belt, IC belt. Because it really, really did feel like it was one of those things where it was. I know they did a fantastic triple threat match. I actually have to go through and make sure I'm not skipping anybody for this. Okay, yeah, Miz was it for the beginning for a little bit, okay. And then there was Rollins, Ziggler, Rollins, Ambrose. Yeah, because I remember there was that really good triple threat match, which was the Miz, Balor, Rollins match. One of these things is not like the other. Okay, it was good. Solid match. The only time the Miz held a belt at all this year. Rollins made a workhorse title, which was fantastic. You could really tell that what they were trying to do is they were trying to recapture the John Cena U.S. title open challenge, which was great because it gave John the ability to work with a bunch of other wrestlers and put on fantastic matches. The problem is that we saw Rollins and Ziggler an awful lot. And we need to see more than Rollins and Ziggler. What made it work when John Cena did the Open Challenge, he took on guys like Cesaro. He took on guys who weren't given singles opportunities. You had like Rollins Gable. Okay, good. I want that. Give me something fresh. It's an open challenge. You can take anybody you want and go, hey, you. You won a good match with Rollins, right? Yeah. Go out there and do it. Go out there and put on a good match. Make it a workhorse title. Turn that. I've often said that I'd love to see the E bring back the TV title, where you do the 10-minute time limit match. It allows you to go. You're always going to see a 10-minute match. You can put a heel in that place, and he's a gatekeeper heel. It gives him for a face to strive for, and that you know that this person is always going to be wrestling every single time there's a TV event. It's a simple thing. It works well. It gives you at least a single match every single week. You know who's wrestling this week, and it gives people who aren't quite ready for that, second tier belt to get something. And it's an easy to write story. Actually how that belt works. They should do it on the Smackdown side too. If they ever want to defend the title, but the person who has the title. So of course they went back and forth with Ziggler and Rollins. So now that I've got those two belts together on Rollins on the Reformed Shield, and then you've got the tag belts on McIntyre and Ziggler. Talk about the big belt. Lesnar had matches with Strowman that were not very good because Lesnar's style doesn't work very well with someone who's bigger than he is. But that's okay, because at Raw we had Lesnar, Strowman, and Kane. So we need Kane in the main event match for the title, which you know he's not going to win, even though it blends in with his ensemble perfectly well. And then it was the push as to when is Roman going to beat Lesnar. Strowman wins the Money in the Bank, and we're like, awesome. Strowman's going to cash in. The problem is he's going to have to go to Lesnar's house and knock on the door with the referee and be like, hey, is there a ring somewhere nearby so I can challenge you for the title? Roman finally overcomes this challenge, probably because Strowman decided to stand outside the ring and get beat by a chair, which distracted Lesnar, allowed Roman to get the win. Which then, of course, led to Strowman doing the dumb thing and saying that he's going to cash in on Roman. Then the Shield reformed to stop that from happening. And then Strowman cashed in for a Hell in a Cell match. But he cashed in, and then he decided to turn on Roman in a tag match with McIntyre and Ziggler, where they left him laying. You'd think if you can take the title, whatever, you would team with Roman, and then, as you know, you're going to turn on him, and two guys are going to beat him down. You're going to be a third person. You would cash in then, take the title from him, and then you have Hell in a Cell to be when, Reigns is trying to take the belt back, and you have the cage to keep out all the outside interference from both stables. They didn't do. So again, we had two guys who were in can't-lose situations going into a Hell in a Cell, a la CM Punk Ryback. So the Hell in a Cell goes to a no contest. Because, why not? I love a no disqualification, no count-out matches in a no contest. Because Lesnar decides to attack the cage. That's okay, because we had Crown Jewel. So now you've got Roman and Rollins holding the singles belt, Dean not holding anything. Well, technically he was holding their bags because, titles are heavy. You need someone to be your schlepper. Taking on the team of Strowman, sans title, and the tag champs. And now Roman has a bout of leukemia. Okay, it's come back. He has to drop the title. Cool. We now have Lesnar, Strowman, and Crown Jewel. Lesnar hits 6 Smackdown finishers in a row. pins Strowman. Strowman goes out because he has a elbow injury. He has to get bone spurs. Saw it down again. Let's kick Lesnar champion. And we had a great match with Daniel Bryan. Survivor Series. But on the same night that Roman had to drop the belt, that was then when Ambrose and Rollins became tag champs. Then Ambrose turned. Notice how now I had to put all 3 belts into one storyline. With them being fractured, Rollins then had to take on AOP, who showed up, dropped their manager, and then did nothing for a long period of time. But then Drake Maverick, the 205 Live general manager, became their manager. Because alignments don't matter once you shift plane in the WWE multiverse. But now, Gable and Rude, who are creative has nothing for your tag team, they're champions now. After a long bout of urination bits. They're bringing in a new tag team. Hopefully, Heavy Machinery makes their way to Raw. They've got enough good guy charisma that should pan out fairly well. Now we're going to the IC title. We left off it was on Rollins. Rollins feud with Ambrose. White hot feud started out great, then took a turn into vaccination. You can tell that the E realized this bombed because when they do their promo packages to talk about it, they entirely skip Dean in a doctor's office. If you like a rabies shot. So Dean Ambrose is now effectively Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
If all the gas matters could talk it like this, I am the moral reckoning of the WWE Universe. The raw landscape needs to be purged of you people. You people and your diseases and your moral ineptitude.
But he's champion now, so hopefully they'll do something with that. Yeah, Raw hit a really bad spot. But the man said things are going to get better. And they're bringing in some new guys. And hopefully they'll freshen them up at the start of the new year. The nice thing is we're at the end of the slow period. Now it's Royal Rumble to ramp into Mania. So we should see good things happening there. Women's division. The belt was pretty much held by Bliss. Bliss then had a bizarre feud with Nia Jax. They made Nia a face. But their match at WrestleMania went significantly longer. Like Alexa Bliss is 5 foot tall. She was outweighed by almost 200 pounds by Nia Jax and like a foot. Nia Jax just flat destroyed Alexa Bliss. That wasn't the story they wanted to run. But the big story, of course, was Bayley and Sasha Banks were finally going to... No, they teased that and they went to therapy. And now they're a tag team. But that's okay, because I mentioned tag belts. And they feud with the Riot Squad an awful lot. For whatever reason. To give them a match. With without Natalya. And the Bellas showed up infrequently to do stuff. Then Bliss got injured and became a general manager, which got wiped out when the McMahon showed back up. So she's hurt, so know what she's doing. But the big thing was at WrestleMania, Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, 2 Olympians, defeating the Authority. Which then led to Ronda Rousey on her way to defeating Nia Jax for the title. But Bliss won Money in the Bank, cashed in. Became champion. Okay? Then she got demolished by Ronda Rousey. Okay, cool. Probably thinking great. Now we saw Ronda Rousey and Bayley. No. Ronda Rousey and Banks? No. Ronda Rousey Tamina? Ronda Rousey Nikki Bella for some reason? Ronda Rousey's trying to cut a lot of promos, which for how long she's been in the business, they're very good promos, but she would benefit from more backstage segments where they could, work a little bit more on here's the way you should do this, here's different ways of projecting, because probably as she gets out in front of the crowd, you can tell she really loves what she's doing. She's like, I'm wrestling now, it's so amazing. She has that moment where she kind of breaks character. She's like, I want you to stoke this in for like a minute. Can I do that? Look at this. This is amazing what I'm doing right now. Which needs to be more of a killer instinct sort of wrestler. But thanks to Roman Reigns' leukemia, then the champ versus champion, which then meant she was going to go one-on-one with a blazing ball of fire known as Becky Lynch, which no one would have thought would have happened at the beginning of the year. But thanks to Nia Jax and #Facebreaker, that didn't happen. Instead, we got a newly broken Charlotte. Charlotte Ronda Rousey was fantastic. Rousey then went on to face Nia Jax again, because everyone else is either injured or they must have had some good food and catering. They just could not get them to come out. Ronda Rousey did get involved in the Smackdown Women's Championship match TLC, which of course main evented, because yes. Hopefully a combination of those 4 women make up a match that is the last match for WrestleMania next year. Yes. So the women's division actually has done fairly well. The problem is that they've gone back to if it's not about the title, you're in kind of throwaway segments. And there's too much talent on the Raw women's side to not do more with them. It's almost criminal what they're doing with them. Not a SmackDown. How about the US title? I have to look up and actually find out who was the champion of that. Because we didn't do much with that, which is sad. Women's belt. Let's look at that. Let's look at the list of those champions there. Scroll all the way through. The nice thing is they've combined everything with it. So, alright. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was that really awesome time. When at the end of last year, when they did that really good Dolph Ziggler storyline where he dropped the title and then showed back up next week for some reason. But that's okay, because Bobby Roode was your champion. Okay. Roode's not a bad champion. And then Orton. Then Orton lost to Jinder Mahal. But then went Jeff Hardy, which was good. Then it went to Hardy to Shinsuke Nakamura. Yes, the 2018 Royal Rumble winner, Shinsuke Nakamura, became the United States champion. I have to say this, he became champion on July 15th. I am trying to think of all the times he defended that title. I think he defended against Rusev a couple of times. Spoiler, Rusev is your champion again now to end out the year. But, man, they put the belt on Shinsuke and I felt like they was doing something with him. And they didn't. So that belt felt like it should have been a workhorse title and it went absolutely nowhere. They put it on a man who took over John Cena's game because we couldn't see him. This is actually really, really sad. Smackdown tag belts. I feel like now what happened with these belts. I was afraid, oh, I forgot about the Bludgeon Brothers. Oh, yeah. So, we began the year with the Usos as tag champs. This time, the Bludgeon Brothers were on an absolute tear. Bludgeon Brothers, of course, being the rechristened Rowan and Harper. Because, why not? And they wore effectively giant masks and had giant comical hammers. And they broke stuff, talked about bludgeoning things. Okay. So, at WrestleMania, in an incredibly short match featuring the New Day and the Usos, Bludgeon became champions. Champions for quite some time. Pretty much mowing over every tag team, be it the Good Brothers, be it the New Day, be it the Usos. And then a no DQ match, the New Day get the belts back. Probably because I think it was Rowan's injured. So Harper's kind of by himself, doing nothing. It's like Bray Wyatt's floating around doing nothing. Man, if only Bray Wyatt and Harper had some sort of connection that they could do, they become a tag team. So, of course, I had the New Day as tag champs. That means you got to see, again, New Day, Usos, and the Bar. That was pretty much your second half of the... Well, it was some of the beginning of the year, and the second half of the year was pretty much just those three tag teams, which is fine, because they're great tag teams. And then Sandy got the call-up, and they did nothing. So, Bar are still your tag team champions. They lost to... the Authors of Pain. Because Drake Maverick urinated himself in Survivor Series. They retained at TLC in a match that should have been a ladder match, because it's TLC. You had a TLC match, you had a tables match, you had a chairs match. Why not have those guys in a ladder match? Just saying. And the Good Brothers on Smackdown. But don't you know how bad tag team wrestling was? SmackDown won the tag team elimination match at Survivor Series. Which the build of that was weird. It's like, I'm the team captains. Alright, great. Who are you going to pick? Everyone who's not the champion. Oh. So SmackDown won that, but they weren't supposed to. Which made this fantastic series at the end where it was the Revival and the Usos, Revival and New Day. Kept on going, can we just shift the Revival over to SmackDown? Maybe see the Good Brothers walking back over to Raw and pal around with Balor. Just shake up those two teams. Revival's doing a hot bowl and nothing right now. Yeah, I will say that I do think that the Revival versus Rude and Gable will be fantastic. Put them on that show. Have the Revival in the Bar, Revival in New Day, Revival in Usos. If you want to actually bring Sandy back, Revival and Sandy. That gives you a really fantastic tag division. At least one show. Now the big belt, which doesn't main event any event. WWE Championship. Styles. Cool. Styles did a really great job this year. At least it felt like he should have done a really great job this year. His feud with Nakamura, which started at WrestleMania, went way too long. And it was all about groin punching and kicks to the junk. Should have been really compelling. And it felt like it was incredibly lacking. The feud with Samoa Joe, where Samoa Joe again killed it on the mic and lost all the matches when it counted. So Samoa Joe is the Bray Wyatt. I will cut a fantastic... I will bring you in. And you will think, you will know, I am taking that title off of him. And I am breaking this man in the process. And I am going to lose these matches and tap out. But then Daniel Bryan came back. Cool. And he had a lot of really bad matches. Daniel Bryan blew a red-hot feud with The Miz because they brought their wives in. And Brie should not be wrestling. The nice thing is at least Maurice realized that she wasn't in the proper physical or mental frame to be very good in professional wrestling and decided to quit doing it. Take time off. Be a mom. Novel thought. But then Dee Bry went heel. Why? Because Daniel Bryan understood the weakness of AJ Styles. His groin. Kick to the groin. Knee to the face. Became champion. Which then led to his dream match. Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar. It was a pretty good match. Until Lesnar flipped on God mode and just destroyed him. But they did a really good AJ 365. Because he was champion for a year. He won it before Survivor Series being Jinder Mahal and saving us from seeing Jinder Mahal, Brock Lesnar. And then lost it the week before Survivor Series for his rematch against Brock Lesnar. Which led some people to believe that maybe, just maybe, AJ Styles might actually win the Royal Rumble and then go on to take on Brock Lesnar in his rematch from Survivor Series to take the belt off him. But hey, if they decide to do that, then I wouldn't mind seeing AJ Styles Rollins, AJ Styles Balor on Raw for the belt while Roman heals up. But now we get into it. Now we get into the biggest, most impressive. This is the story of the year. Smackdown Women's Championship. We begin the year with Charlotte. Charlotte is heading straight towards taking on the winner of the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, Asuka, in a very, very good match at WrestleMania. A match befitting the Empress versus the Queen. And then Carmella cashes in Money in the Bank. Remember she won that? Twice? Is it Ellsworth? So, Charlotte beats Asuka. Then gets attacked by the Iconics. Gets cashed in on, loses to Carmella. Carmella then beats Charlotte at pay-per-views. Carmella then beats Asuka at pay-per-views. Slowly there was a rumbling. There was a fire. Someone stoked the embers of straight fire. And that fire began to grow. It became bigger and stronger and became the light that destroyed all of the darkness around her. Becky Lynch started winning matches, was getting a one-on-one shot against Carmella. Charlotte was like, hey, I've been a champ a lot, put me in a match, see if I can earn the right to take on Carmella. Which led to R-Truth deciding, you know what? I can get any championship match I want either, as long as I beat Carmella. They later won the Mixed Match Challenge, and Carmella went from being conniving heel to happy-go-lucky dancer with goofy R-Truth. We weren't given an on-air story as to how she switched. So Charlotte pinned Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was like, you know what, Charlotte? Good job. You did it. You got the title. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you right now. You took the title from me. You took my opportunity. At which point she then beat her. Beat her senseless. As the crowd roared with approval. Not since the time when Triple H beat and bloodied Roman Reigns was a crowd this ecstatic to watch someone who was supposed to turn evil and heel beat the valiant babyface. And with that moment, straight fire steampunk Becky Lynch formed a chrysalis. And during that time of metamorphosis, inside the chrysalis, what burst forth was a power that we haven't seen in such a long time. The man was born. Forged in fire. He was the man. Think like a phoenix. And then Becky Lynch flat out stole the rest of the year. Be it on Twitter, really solid Twitter game, elevating that belt, elevating herself, elevating women's wrestling. Also, the Ronda Rousey bringing up the Raw brand, get more eyes on women's wrestling. Beautiful matches she had at Evolution. Then, of course, Nia Jax ruined the opportunity to have her face Ronda Rousey. But it led to one of the very few times when SmackDown and Raw went head-to-head that wasn't Survivor Series. When she led the charge of the women to attack Raw. And that image that we have of bloody, broken face Becky Lynch being like, I'll run everything. Just, nose off to the side, face smashed in, blood everywhere. And she was like, yeah, I'll bleed my own blood, and I'm still in character. Which ended up having a great match, a great TLC match. Oh, Spice no one got severely injured in that match. Ronda Rousey's like, you know what? I remember you beating me down in my locker room, then in the ring. Charlotte, remember you beat me out with the kendo stick? Survivor Series. I push over your ladder. I walk away. So now all of a sudden for the SmackDown women's side, you've got who wants to be battle Asuka, who's ready for Asuka. But you also have two women going, I'm less concerned about our belt. I'm more concerned about killing the blonde girl who's on the other show. Alexa Bliss? No. The other one, the Olympian, the UFC girl. I want to destroy her. And the fans are going, there's this big event that happens with like 85,000 people, give or take 10,000. And the guy who's been main eventing the past couple of years, he's out. This is now the opportunity to put Ronda Rousey on either Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and or Asuka in a match. And have that match close out WrestleMania. So it's been a rough year for the E. A lot of injuries. To put it into some level of perspective, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Matt Hardy are just the basic ones off the top of my head that I know they got injured. Almost got the call for SmackDown. They didn't do a lot with him. The people that left, you had some small scrappy dude who talked a lot, and a guy whose height you could not teach. And you had some call-ups, which did a pretty good job. All in all, you know what? 2018 was a pretty weird year. I had to go my favorite pay-per-view of the year. It's All In, period. My favorite e-pay-per-view? I would say Evolution was easily the best one when it came start to finish. Almost every single match delivering what it needed to. The way it was shot was very unique. And excited to see what they're going to do with the women's wrestling. Finally. Going into 2019 and 2020.